I can't take it anymore. I'm tired of running, tired of hiding. My strength is leaving me. He's coming for me. He's already coming. He's close. He's about to open the door. I feel his breath, his heartbeat. My strength is leaving me. Fear. It's seizing my body, infiltrating my thoughts, penetrating the depths of my soul. Pain. My whole body aches, my hands and legs are covered in blood, my head hurts terribly, and my stomach churns. Despair. No, it doesn't feel like despair, more like resignation to fate. What? This is the end. I was just an ordinary girl. I went to middle school number, and I don't remember the number anymore. All I remember is that in school, they considered me a nobody, although it didn't bother me. I didn't care who they thought I was at school. The main thing was who I considered myself to be. However, this didn't make my life any easier. My classmates humiliated me, portrayed me as a complete idiot, teased, beat me, wrote nasty things on desks, on the walls of the school, in the bathroom. Well, in general, everything was like in other ordinary schools. Indeed, I am a very ordinary person. It's just that my fate is not ordinary. Let me tell you how it all happened. There was this awesome guy at our school. Red hair, green eyes, athletic build. What was his name? Oh yes, his name was Kevin. Most of our girls hung around him, while the rest kept their feelings secret. I liked him since elementary school. He always sat next to me at the same desk, which is not surprising. I am an excellent student, and he had to copy from someone. I am quite pretty, but the only guy who asked me out in the 7th grade was a loser from our class. He was rambling about how much and how long he loved me, but I didn't care then, and I don't care now, but okay, more about that later. The end of the 11th grade was approaching. Graduation was soon, and you can't imagine my surprise when Kevin approached me and asked me to be his date for the prom. Oh my God, why me? There are so many girls around him, and he chose me. That's what I thought then. That loser, his name was Lex, also invited me. He sent me a letter asking to meet. I hadn't seen him for 2 years already. Teachers said he would finish 10th and 11th grades at another school, but he would attend prom with us. I declined his offer, and by the way, it was a big mistake. The day of the prom arrived. Kevin and I had so much fun. We danced, then chatted. We had a lot in common. Then we danced again and went for a walk. And then it all started. It was midnight. The full moon was shining with its cold, pale light, illuminating our path. We came to the bridge. Kevin stood next to me. I looked into his eyes. There was something very strange in them, such incomprehensible sadness. There was something predatory, animalistic. Oh, this is not about his gaze. His gaze responded to me with tenderness and sadness. Love was clearly expressed in his green eyes. This is a description of that strange black thing on the other side of the bridge. Hey, turn around, Kevin. What is this? I shouted then. He turned around and was horrified. Danny, it seems we need to. Run. Kevin has changed a lot. I've never seen him like this before. He looked like a lamb cornered by a fierce, hungry wolf. And it was true. That creature vaguely resembled a wolf. We ran. It ran after us. Strangely, I felt like I was ready for this. Kevin disappeared somewhere. I ran through the dark forest. It was near the bridge, alone. When I stumbled upon an old abandoned hut, I ran inside and barricaded myself. My dress was torn and dirty. My shoes, they were gone. My hands and legs were bleeding from numerous cuts from branches and needles. I was scared and in pain. Tears flowed freely from my eyes. Suddenly, something began to break down the door. I covered my head with my hands and curled up my knees. I was very scared. When the door finally gave way, that same creature was standing in the doorway. Where's Kevin? I could barely speak. Kevin won't come. He's far away now, and he's unlikely to return from there, believe me. He said it so calmly. I didn't care that he could kill me at any moment. I had finally found happiness, love. And this creature destroyed everything. And I started screaming. A voice suddenly appeared. I don't know if it was from the strength that had come to me or from anger. I hate you. How can you talk about it so calmly? You've destroyed my happiness. You've robbed me of hope for the future. You know nothing about love. With each word, I became bolder. What do you know? You never. He hit me, but didn't kill. I just flew into the far wall. When I got up and looked at him, it was no longer that ugly creature vaguely resembling a wolf. It was. That's it, I can't talk about it anymore. Damn, it was a werewolf. How did I not understand it right away? Oh God, I would rather he killed me and didn't show his face, because it was Lex standing there. But he was different. The same dark hair, but a different haircut. Strange. I finally understood why he wore long bangs. His eyes were red, and when he pushed them aside, I saw all the grace of his face. His eyes revealed his entire inner world. A strict, confident gaze. He was very different from Kevin. He was better. Don't you dare say I never loved you. I've always loved you, Danny, but you chose him. Why? Because he was much more attractive than me back then. You're all fooled by appearances. It infuriates me. I killed him. Now you're alone like I once was. And I won't alleviate your loneliness. I don't know. It's him. The one I always needed, the one who was always there. My wolf. He came back for me to understand that. Stay, please. Will you stay after all? No, although I still love you. But you know, I hate you just as much. I want to kill you, but I can't. Stay with me, please. Be by my side, as you always were. I would like to, but I don't want to. I'm asking you. The night became so cold. The feeling of loneliness and sadness never left me. Don't leave me. After all, I'm your ray of light. Die, darkness. An unforgettable feeling of losing consciousness. No, don't think that. He didn't kill me. I just passed out. When I woke up, there was a big hole in the wall. Nearby were scratched words, "Revenge is complete." Now I'm alone. Here's a little advice. Appreciate what you have, don't ask for more, or you risk losing something important in your life. Once during summer vacation, when I spent days at home feeling bored, my friend Mary called and invited me to stay at her grandmother's cottage. Mary was a bit silly sometimes. When we were together in a big group, I'd literally cover my face with my hands. But spending time with her was fun and carefree. Mary's grandmother's cottage was located in a remote forest, old, dilapidated, but cozy. I had been to this house a couple of times before, invited by Mary. The road was long. We drove for almost 5 hours. The place where Mary's grandmother lived couldn't be called a village or a summer cottage, just a couple of houses a few dozen meters apart from each other. They put me on the second floor in a separate room, although I would have preferred to share a room with my friend. The room was somewhat dark and not very cozy. As I unpacked, my friend stood nearby grumbling, seriously. Am I going to watch horror movies alone all night? Oh, come on, it's not that bad, I replied. When your grandma falls asleep, I'll sneak into your room. Deal. Okay, Mary said with relief. Around 10:30, I decided to go to my friend's room, although I would have preferred to sleep. I was very tired from the journey. I quietly opened the door and stepped into the corridor. The stairs were very steep and creaked loudly, but Mary's grandmother was already asleep and unlikely to wake up until morning. Entering my friend's room, I was horrified. She was lying on the floor. Her eyes were open and completely black. It seemed like there was no fat left in her body. Mary used to be plump, but now she looked as if she had died of anorexia, all pale, skinny, with bulging veins. The window in the room was broken and everything was splattered with some yellow liquid. I stood motionless for about 10 seconds, unable to scream, and then noticed a black muzzle flickering outside the broken window. I screamed so loud that I almost tore my vocal cords. Almost immediately, I was blinded by a bright light. It turned out that Mary had entered the room and turned on the light. "Why are you screaming?" she asked, frightened. "I've been looking for you everywhere." "How is that possible?" I was in shock. "But you were." I pointed to where she had just been lying, but there was only an empty carpet. "Why did you break the window?" Mary continued to wonder. At that moment, her grandmother entered the room, awakened by my scream. Together, we went downstairs to the kitchen, and I told them everything I had seen. They were both scared. Then Mary's grandmother told me that this was the 5th time that the window in this room had been smashed for no reason. We sat in the kitchen until morning. In the morning, Mary moved into my room. We spent a couple of weeks in her grandmother's house, but neither I nor anyone else had any more such horrifying visions. A month later, Mary ended up in the hospital with severe abdominal pain. Liver problems were discovered. She was discharged only 6 months later, pale and severely emaciated, just skin and bones. Thank goodness she survived.